Hi, I'm Joel Bond. The global coronavirus pandemic has left me locked down and stranded on this beautiful Greek island with lots of time on my hands to make videos for you almost every single day. These are my lockdown life lessons brought to you from the beach here in Greece. First off today, I'd like to say a big happy Passover to our Jewish brothers and sisters around the world who began celebrating last night this week-long festival of unleavened bread. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the story of Passover, it can be found in the Christian and the Jewish scriptures in the book of Exodus, and is often found modern adaptation in films such as the Charlton Heston classic of the Ten Commandments or the animated version of the Prince of Egypt. If you've seen the films or read the original story, then you're familiar with the concept of Moses leading the Israelites from slavery to freedom. But this isn't just an ancient story that's been preserved in ritual. No, it's a story that reminds all of us that we are all on a journey towards freedom. In our hearts and our minds, in our society and the world around us, as we work with our governments, as we exercise our right to vote wherever we can, that all of this are ways that we are exercising a move towards freedom and away from slavery. In fact, the ancient Jewish rabbis and sages talked about three key components of this festive meal, three foods that are consumed that are necessary in order to tell the story of freedom. These three foods are matzah, maror, and pesach in Hebrew, or the unleavened bread, the bitter herbs, and the sacrificial lamb. Those three things represent key ideas in the story. The matzah bread is unleavened. It didn't have time to rise when the Israelites were leaving their slavery. And so it represents for many people this idea of preparedness. Are you ready to move towards a higher call and purpose quickly? The bitter herbs, often horseradish or a piece of raw onion, brings tears to your eyes. It's a certain grief and sadness, and yet it's sweetened with other foods throughout this meal, notably an apple and honey mixture with some spices. That this bitterness that you have can be turned to joy if we are patient and have hope. This food represents this idea of hope, that things will get better if we are patient and persist. Finally, the last thing is Pesach, or the sacrificial lamb. And these things represent the idea that sacrifice is inevitable. We must be prepared that there will be a loss of life in order to gain freedom. Preparedness, hope, and sacrifice are the three things that the story revolves around, and are the three things that we all must remember today as we are locked down in quarantine and looking for ways to gain our own actual liberty and freedom to move about, and looking for ways to walk in our own journey from our hearts and minds, from slavery and patterns of behavior to more freedom, open ability to love others. Are you prepared? Do you have hope? And are you willing to sacrifice in order to gain freedom? Our Jewish brothers and sisters have been telling this story for millennia, and they understand exactly what is required for freedom. For those of us, let us take a lesson from this holiday now. To be prepared, have hope, recognize sacrifice will be part of it, but at the end, we will gain freedom. I wish you all the best, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you tomorrow.